Bersih Rally Facebook page, and we've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of likes, so we are getting a lot of support from the people back home. Why am I here today? Basically, I'm sure all Malaysians, we want to go home, back home to Malaysia one day. We're all here for a better future in Australia, but I know deep in our hearts we are all Malaysians. We all want to go back home one day, and we are proud to call Malaysia our home. But I want to be proud of Malaysia for something else other than, Nasi Lemak, Satay, Char Kway Teow, and the Twin Towers. Okay, I want to be proud that we have government that actually unites people from different races. I have grandparents. My grandfather is Indian, my grandma is Chinese, so I come from a multiracial background. But it's sad to see that 50 years down the road, Malaysia is getting more divided than before. We are trying to promote the concept of one Malaysia, but looking at what's going on, where people are actually threatening crusades against Christians, threatening Chinese, threatening Indians, raising Malay rights as the basis for arguments. This is all dividing us. So I want a government that actually unites the people. I want a government that actually fights for its people. I want a government that actually promotes free speech, promotes freedom of movement, because as we all know now, KL is locked down. Nobody is allowed in, nobody is allowed out. This is just wrong, because as not only Malaysians, but as humans, we live in a world where we should be allowed to move freely. I also want a government that actually spends its money on educating people instead of spending money on white house projects that actually goes to waste, that I am very disappointed about. The money that my forefathers, my parents, myself, the money that we have given to our government is gone to waste. We have spent millions on irrelevant items like 1.8 million ringgit on Facebook pages. That's just absurd. That money could have gone building more schools, educating people, actually doing things to unite people. So I want to work for a change. I want to go back home one day, and I want to be proud to tell all my Australian friends that I am proud to actually be Malaysian. Please register yourself to be able to register and do vote, because that's what counts. That's what matters. We can talk, we can protest, but without the vote, there's no point. Right? So use your right to vote and do it. I'm not from Malaysia, but that's not important. This birthday is very important. Let's hope that we are going to achieve something by gathering together. Let's hope. It is probably going to be a long walk, but that doesn't matter. What matters the most is that we are going to get something positive that we all want and hope for. Yeah. And what I can say is, it's great to see you all. Let's do something that is fair election and everyone has a voice to say.
I want to say something about the corruption as an example of how easy is it to corrupt someone in Malaysia. I think a lot of my friends have started before. Imagine if you're speeding on the highway and the police just stop you. They say, okay, I'm going to give you a fine. It's going to cost $350. That's the first thing he's going to say, the police. And then the second thing he's going to say, okay, do you want to settle this thing here? He said, if you want to settle the things here, you can give him like $50, or you say, I'm a student, can I get some discount? I'll give you $30 and you let me go. That's really common in Malaysia. That's
not entirely true that not going to try to get nothing. I benefited from my government sponsoring me since I was a kid to university. I lived there, and I lived in 1998. But what I'm trying to tell you is, since I left Malaysia in 1998, I lived in 5 countries in the last 13 years. It's really pity my countrymen, my fellow countrymen in Malaysia, because if you look at Hong Kong, Taipei, this country full of without any natural resources, full of disasters, and they can become a better country than Malaysia. We are full of natural resources. We got petroleum, we got cocoa, we got rubber, And what we end up with, everyone tells us that Malaysia looks like a third world country. It's not true. Because what the government did to us was they are so corrupted. There's no such thing called democracy in Malaysia, because since 1957, after the independence, it rules by one party. It rules by the same bunch of people since then. And they tell us that now they want to start a one Malaysia. That's ridiculous, you know. One Malaysia should come from all of us, from our hearts. We don't separate ourselves Chinese, Indian or Malaysia or Malay, because we are Malaysians. From now on, we have to start thinking of ourselves. Malaysians, we're not, you know, Malay, Chinese or Indian. Again, it's all Malaysians, okay? This forum is not about separating us, but this forum is to work together as a Malaysian against a free and fair election. Thank you very much, and I hope we'll have a better future. We need a change from today. Thanks.
I got to admit that my country is developing at a fast pace. Seems like a healthy site. Well, underneath this healthy growth, there are inequality and biased political decisions involved. As the ruling party practices tactics well known to favor their victory in the elections, things such as corruption, with media cover-up issues, as well as the use of police force to suppress other parties' demand. So, the only way to change this is to have a fair, clean and unbiased electoral system. Then this leads to the voices from every corner of the country to be heard. Hence, we are able to wash away those people who only bring benefits to themselves and utilizing the country resources. Well, to summarize this, the translation of Bersih means clean. So I hope from this rally currently held in Malaysia and all around the world, we are able to achieve a fair, clean election.
The main purpose of our gathering is Bersih. We have to understand what Bersih stands for. There is free election, independent judiciary, elimination of corruption. That's the main purpose of our gathering down here, nothing else. So we have differences, we have Malay, we have Chinese, and we're Indian, because there's a major races down there. But when we speak, we must speak as one, Malaysian, not Malay, not Chinese, not Indian. That's the only way for us to achieve what we want. So we campaign down here is for Bersih. Don't forget about our purpose is Bersih. Free election, independent judiciary, free media, and free speech for all.
Just wanted to comment quickly, I guess, on the link between the Australian government's negotiations with the Malaysian government over the so-called Malaysian solution, where we see the Australian government claiming that it's in the best interest of both Malaysia and Australia to be deporting our refugees, which Australia has an international obligation to take care of, to Malaysia, claiming that Malaysia will be a great place for resettlement for these refugees and that they're in no harm. While at this exact time, the Malaysian government is cracking down on those same democracy movements within Malaysia. The Australian government is claiming that being a friend of democracy, that we can export our refugees over to Malaysia and basically force a much poorer country to take our responsibility for us. And I think that we won't see anything from the Australian government in support of democracy in Malaysia for this precise reason. They're complicit with this. As far as I understand, the same minister that the Minister for Integration has been negotiating with in Malaysia is the minister that's in control of cracking down on this movement. So I think that we also need to make sure that the Australian government knows that our eyes are on Malaysia and that we're wishing the best success to the Malaysian democracy movement, and similarly that we hold them accountable for their failure to take serious its obligations to the refugees that are seeking asylum in Australia.
The Malaysian community in Brisbane supports the right of the Malaysian people to free election. What do we want? Free election. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Free elections! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Free elections! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Free elections! When do we want it? Now!
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. And rock down the clock tonight. Put your glad right on. Join me hard. We'll have fun. 5 o'clock, like 1. Rock the clock tonight. Rock, rock, rock to broad daylight. Rock, rock the clock tonight. When the clock strike 2, 3, 4. If the band stop now, we gotta yell for more. Rock the clock tonight. Rock, rock, rock to broad daylight. Rock, rock the clock tonight. When the chim ring 5, 6, 7. I be right at the 7th heaven. Rock the clock tonight. Rock, rock, rock to broad daylight. Rock, rock the clock tonight. When the clock strike 8, 9, 10, 11, 2. I so do you. Rock the clock tonight. Rock, rock to broad daylight. Rock, rock the clock tonight. When the chim ring chop, rock there. Rock the clock tonight. Sometimes they call me Bruce Lee. Sometimes they call me Bruce Lee. I do a lot. Sorry. There you go. Bala bala la bamba. Bala bala la bamba. Senere che setta una poca di grazia. Una poca di grazia. Paripatia arriba, arriba. Lì arriva, buonasera, buonasera, bamba, 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 bamba. One more time.